The iMac has looked more or less the same for nearly 12 years now, up until yesterday, when Apple took to the virtual stage and dropped a brand new redesigned iMac that looks like this. Now, I'll leave everything that I talk about here timestamped below. Feel free to click around to whatever you might be interested in, and also feel free to subscribe because, yeah, that would be pretty cool. Okay, this design, there are lots of mixed reviews out there. Personally, I applaud Apple, or really any company, that finally gives us something new and exciting. There's a lot to be excited about when it comes to the sheer advancement in technology with this iMac. For starters, it's only 11 millimeters thin, which is just mind-boggling to think about for a computer this size. Also, to play devil's advocate, I don't think anybody really asked for a computer to be 11 millimeters thin. I don't think they care if a computer is more thick because you'd rather have what you need over thinness. I could be wrong. But I do applaud Apple for finally giving us fun, colorful options to things instead of just giving us the boring space gray and silver. But man, this two-toned-ish design is very hard to look at for certain colors. I think most people are upset with the white bezels, the huge chin, and the pastel colors on the front. I think a lot of people were hoping for a design that was rumored for so long that looks a little bit like our mock-ups. Something along the lines of this, but something closer to the Pro Display XDR. I don't mind the white bezels personally. I think it's fine. It's something new, and with certain colors, it actually looks kind of cool. I obviously would prefer there to be no bezels or reduced chins, but iMacs have always had these iconic big chins at the bottom, and whether you love them or hate them, they've always been there, and there's always been an Apple logo. And honestly, in a time where I would usually say no to logos, the fact that there isn't a logo this time makes it seem very weird and empty. My biggest gripe is really the pastel version of the color that you get on the back here on the front. I think the back of the iMac looks fantastic in all of these colors. All of the color choices are really cool looking and they're sleek. But for just about every single color option available, when you turn them around, they look really strange to me. The red with the pink front, no thanks, not for me. Some of you might like that, that's cool. Purple, not for me either. The silver just seems kind of too boring, but might honestly be the safest pick at this point. I actually weirdly like the yellow. I'm not gonna lie, in all the images and videos that the yellow is in, it blends into the natural wood environment of those scenes, and it does look kind of cool. I'm not sure that I can personally pull that off in my home, but who knows? I do love orange, that's my favorite color, and the pastel front that's borderline pink kind of ruins it for me, but I'm still considering it. I guess I'll try blue? I don't know. The point is, this is what seems to be rubbing people the wrong way about the design. The massive chin and the white bezels, and then that weird color difference between the front and the back. Now, Apple did say that a lot of iMacs are seen from behind. I'm assuming in businesses, when you walk in the desk, you see the back of the iMac as opposed to the front more. I don't know, for me personally, it's usually up against the desk, so I rarely get to see the back. But again, I'd love to know your thoughts on the design, so let me know in those comments below. Now, the rest of the machine is pretty incredible for the price. This is the 24-inch model, so it's meant to replace the 21.5-inch base model iMac. They did not announce a larger version yet. Hopefully that's soon to come. Now, it does come with the new M1 chip, which makes base model machines perform just as well sometimes as fully spec'd out devices that run off Intel chips, and it's just lightning fast and probably more than enough for businesses and classrooms and families, which is who I think these machines are targeted towards. My guess is we'll see a larger, more pro model at some point this year, and it might look a bit more professional, but right now, this is what we have. Now, the Retina display has been bumped up to a 4.5K Retina display with 500 nits of brightness and True Tone technology, which if you don't know what that is by now, it is Apple's way of automatically adjusting the color temperature of your screen based off of your environment. Apple also touted its new 1080p FaceTime camera, saying it's the best camera system ever in a Mac. And it has a large sensor to capture in more light alongside advanced image signal processing from the M1 chip in order to greatly improve image quality, at least according to what Apple says. Apple really catered to those who are working or taking classes from home, people who rely heavily on Zoom calls or FaceTime calls, and so the company even added more more to this experience by upgrading that FaceTime camera, but also adding studio quality 3-microphone array that we've seen in some other machines to help reduce feedback and eliminate background noise and just make your sound just better. There are also 6 speakers somehow built into this crazy thin machine, and the company even added spatial audio to this Mac, which was actually kind of strange to me and unexpected, but it does make the iMac now a pretty intriguing option for watching content, especially Dolby Atmos content on this iMac. There are 4 USB-C ports, 2 of which are Thunderbolt 4, unless you get the base model, which actually only has 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports and nothing else. There's also a 3.5mm headphone jack on all models, but it has been moved to the side of the machine because of how thin the iMac actually is. The new power cable, it attaches magnetically, it's woven in the color to match your iMac, which is pretty cool, and it's all attached to a power supply that has a built-in Ethernet port, which is a nice touch. Although, according to Apple's website, where all the specs are listed out for each machine, it does appear that the Ethernet port is limited to the 2 higher-end models, which is interesting. Speaking of those specs, you do get that M1 chip, which will come with either an 8-core CPU and then a 7 or 8-core GPU, depending on which model you go with. Oh, and speaking of the 2 higher end models, they do come with a Magic Keyboard that has built-in Touch ID. You can get either a numeric full keyboard or just a smaller standard keyboard without the number keys. And then there is a Magic Trackpad and new Magic Mouse, all of which are color matched to your iMac, which is fun. It does appear as if Apple will not be selling these keyboards separately, at least as of right now. However, they are in fact compatible with all M1 Macs, so if you want to use a Touch ID keyboard on your Mac Mini or your Mac Pro, if you bought an iMac, you could technically port that over to other M1 machines, which is good to know. This is really a cool iMac, in my opinion. I do like the new look. Everybody was expecting something like an iPad on a stand, which honestly, from the side point of view, it does look like an iPad or just a slab of glass on a somewhat tweaked Pro Display XDR stand, which won't cost you $1,000 extra. I know that there are some mixed reviews. I have mixed thoughts and feelings about it, but overall I am excited to test it out and see how good the machine actually is. But I'd love to know your thoughts on everything that we just talked about in the comments down below. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.